Hey everybody, I'm here with Paul Gamble. Paul, tell us who you are.
I'm the co-founder and former CEO of Nori, a carbon removal marketplace that was around from 2017 to 2024. And these days, I'm writing about carbon removal and category creation at inevitableandobvious.com.
Awesome. So I was Paul and I were talking this week, and just to get everybody dialed in, right? Like if we take a step back and we look at carbon removal as an industry, we have these incredible startups figuring out how to remove carbon from the sky in all these different ways. And then we've had larger corporations, we've had people buying carbon removal credits, buyers and sellers. And then in the middle, there's pieces for verifying that carbon and having standards and methodologies to make sure that it's actually removed. And Paul, you've been writing these articles about, how can we go further with carbon removal? And for everybody that's listening, this is going to be a couple ideas for how to, where are some opportunities to take carbon removal further that we haven't seen yet? And if you're at a company or you start a company already, maybe these are things that you can like bake into your business model, or you can say, you know what, we're going to do a little experiment around this. Or maybe if you're looking for something new, you're thinking, hey, actually, maybe I want to start a company around one of these things, or I can take some of that thinking and start off a project. And so for this experiment in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to ask you to imagine that there is a bunch of unexplored space in carbon removal beyond, kind of where we've already the places we've already been and looking about, okay, what's next? And so with that, Paul, would love to hear the ideas that we're talking about and kind of what brought you to that thinking.
Yeah, so I've been writing about a lot of the structural barriers that exist to scaling and carbon removal. And we have hundreds of different startups who have hundreds of different methods of removal. But we have relatively few methods of how we answer the question of who pays for that carbon removal. And that's the next thing that we as an industry need to answer. And so, going beyond just selling offtakes to corporate sustainability departments, I've just been wanting to throw out ideas that not necessarily to say these are good businesses that someone should go build, but like these are the types of ideas that you could be thinking about. And I'm sure that if you hear these, you might come up with something much better and more creative. And so one of the ideas is a carbon negative ad network. And so you could picture yourself riding in an Uber, and at the end of the ride, as you go to enter your review, you watch a little video ad from a sponsor who is paying for the ad and paying for removing the emissions from the ride that you just took. The sponsor gets targeted impact oriented advertising. Uber gets the goodwill of facilitating this, and you, as the rider, get a carbon negative ride. And so everyone wins in this situation, as opposed to just corporate sustainability buying, which is like a real cost center. Another example is like a carbon negative credit card, where a portion of the fees that you pay every time you swipe go towards carbon removal. This is actually kind of similar to what Stripe does right now. If you're a Stripe customer as a merchant, you can direct a portion of the fees that you pay towards carbon removal. So imagine you as a consumer, just every time you're swiping your credit card, you're funding just a little bit more carbon removed from the atmosphere. And a third idea is like in-game purchases. So, say you're playing some mobile game and you make some in-app purchase, and a portion of that goes towards purchasing carbon removal. You can imagine playing something like Stardew Valley, and then you're making biochar in the game, and then you buy something, and that results in biochar happening in real life. Like that's the kind of novel thinking that we need in order to move from this first phase of the carbon removal industry into the next phase, which can actually get us to the level of scale that we need.
Oh, I love that. My go-to game is Breath of the Wild, and I'm thinking about we've got startups that are making carbon fiber out of carbon dioxide pulled from the air. I'm like, whoa, what if you had like a carbon fiber armor, and when you bought it in the game, it actually removed like the amount of carbon that it takes to actually make that armor. That'd be super cool. And then I was with the Uber one, I was thinking about like, so you're in the back of the cab, and yeah, I'm like going to Carbon Bound in New York or something, and a Patagonia ad pops up and it says like, hey, like we just removed all the emissions from your ride. here's like a new jacket we're working on. Like, cool, awesome, right? Like, thanks Patagonia. So I love those. I love those concepts. Paul, where can people continue this conversation if they've got ideas or experiments they want to do, or if they want to run with some of these?
Well, if you're going to be in San Francisco for Climate Week on April 23rd, you and I are both on a panel that is hosted by Mast Reforestation. So I think we can share the Luma for that. And then I'm at inevitableandobvious.com. That's where my newsletter is. And there's just a lot of conversation about this happening, mostly on LinkedIn, as far as I can tell.
Awesome. Great. And folks, if you have other things you want to say, other replies, you can just hit reply and that'll go through too. Many of you are already on AirMiner Slack, but that's a great place to take these discussions. If you've got ideas, if you've got concepts that you want to work on, if you want to share, like, hey, I put up some ads in a taxi, and here's what I found. Here's what the response was like. AirMiner Slack is a great place for that. I'll include the link, but you can go to airminers.com and click on the Connect tab, and you can join about 3,000 people worldwide. I mean, more than half of the people working on carbon removal globally are part of the AirMiners Slack community. So it's a great place to take these ideas and further develop them. And you can just post and share what you're thinking. So I look forward to seeing you all on AirMiners Slack, and I look forward to seeing you, Paul, in San Francisco.
Let's run some more experiments.
Love it. All right, see you, Paul.
Bye, Tito.